We usually categorize the signs and symptoms of burnout in three categories. So we have the physical signs that you need to look out for. We have the emotional signs or the psychological signs, and then we have the behavioral signs. Okay. Now, what are we seeing ourselves doing? So some of the physical signs that we get to feel in our body, okay, are things like you feel tired most of the times. You're drained, like you just don't have energy. So even getting out of bed is an issue. Thinking of getting out of bed in the morning is an issue. You don't have the energy.
Yes.
Another one is you might experience physical aches that you can't explain. Like your body is just aching. And for ladies especially, you might find it presenting itself as backache, shoulder ache, neck ache, or headaches. Yes, constant headaches that you can't even explain.
Even if you take water.
Because I know you're like, oh, maybe I'm not hydrated enough.
Yes.
Yeah, so you take water, the headache is still there. So it presents itself in different forms of aches. And then muscle ache, joint ache, you're just like, why am I so tired? Why are my joints aching? Why is my leg aching? You can't explain. You're trying to think, did I hurt myself? Did I overexert myself? No, it's unexplained. Okay. Then you may also have a change in your appetite. You might find yourself overeating, or just loss of appetite. You don't feel like eating anymore. And you can't explain why. So different people approach it differently. So you might find some people lose appetite, some people gain appetite. Then you might also see changes in your sleep patterns, where you are either oversleeping, you don't want to wake up. You just want to sleep the whole day. When it comes to morning, you have to wake up to do stuff, whether you are working from home or going to the office, formally employed or self-employed. You do not feel like getting up. You're so sleepy. Or, on the other hand, the sleep just disappears. You're lying in bed up to midnight, 1, you're still turning and tossing. So changes in your sleep patterns. So, and I'm emphasizing changes in your sleep patterns. You're somebody who used to sleep so well, then all of a sudden you're seeing your sleep patterns changing. And then the other way we might see the physical symptoms is we find ourselves getting sick more often. Our immune system is affected. Yeah, because of the high stress levels. What happens is high stress levels changes the chemical composition. Cortisol is one of the hormones that is raised in our system, and it's a very inflammatory hormone. So it exposes the system. The system becomes weakened. So our immune system becomes compromised. So you're in a room with somebody who has a common cold, you pick it very quickly.
Oh, no.
You touch maybe jam somewhere, you develop a sore throat.
Yes.
So you find yourself getting ill more often. So those are some of the physical symptoms. There could be more, but those are some of the main physical symptoms that you may experience when you're going through burnout. And you may not even know. You may just wonder, why am I nowadays getting cold so often? Why am I so tired lately? You may not even think about it. Okay? Then emotionally, you may experience a sense of failure and a sense of self-doubt. Think of a young mother with 4 children. Okay?
Yes.
And I like giving this example because I was once there. 7-year-old,
yes,
4-year-old, 2-year-old, and a newborn.
Oh no!
Okay, think of that scenario. So you start, if you're going through burnout, you start feeling like, am I a good mother? Am I a good enough mother? You find yourself, now we'll look at the behavioral symptoms.
Yes.
The behavioral symptoms, you find yourself yelling at your children all the time. You're irritable, Yeah, so you start feeling like, am I a failure? Am I a good enough mother? You start doubting yourself. If you're working in the office, oh my goodness, everybody who crosses your path, you start questioning your competency. You're yelling at everybody. You're irritable. If you're the boss, nobody wants to come to your office. When you walk in, people are like, oh, she's coming. Everybody adjusts themselves. So, but when you come to sit at your desk,
yes,
if you're working, you're doubting yourself. So you feel like, I'm a failure. I can't handle even this simple project that I was given. So there's a sense of failure and a sense of self-doubt. You lack motivation. You find work sitting on your desk if you're working in the office. If you're at home, and I'm looking at this mother with 4 children.
Yes.
You know, she's doing a job that nobody has described as a job.
Oh, no.
Nobody has described as a job. In fact, we call them stay-at-home moms. Oh. That is a full-time job. That needs a job description. It needs a salary. It needs leave.
Benefits.
It needs benefit.
A
lot. Because you're doing one of the most important
and
jobs.
it needs leave days.
It needs leave days. Yeah. Unfortunately, we can't have leave days when you have a day-old baby.
Yeah.
Unfortunately. Yeah, but it needs all that. So you lack motivation even to do the simple things that you need to do as a mother. You know, for example, in that. So lack of motivation to do the things that you're required to do. Another emotional symptom is you now start feeling helpless, you feel trapped, and you feel defeated. Because remember, your in-tray, if you're working in the office, is up here.
Yes.
And you're sitting on your desk the whole day and nothing is moving. If you're at home doing this important job of raising 4 children, you find that you woke up, by midday you're wondering, what have I done?
You can't account.
You can't account because you are lacking motivation. You can't even get up. Maybe your sink is full of utensils. Your laundry basket is full of clothes. You're not able. You're lacking the motivation.
And so it's not what somebody else would say, uyu anajifanya. You're just pretending. No. It's not that.
And then someone will come and call you lazy.
What have you been doing the whole day?
Exactly.
You're just a stay-home mom.
You're a stay-at-home mom. What have you been doing since morning, So now you start feeling, when this goes on for a while, you start feeling helpless, you start feeling trapped, you start feeling defeated because nothing is moving. You really want to do it, but you're not able to do it. Then you may also now start feeling like you're not accomplishing anything. So you lack satisfaction, whether you're working formally employed or you're working at home or from home. You start feeling like nothing is working. So you start feeling unaccomplished, yet you're raising human beings. 4 human beings. You're doing a very important job, Unaccomplished, yes, yet you're managing a whole team of employees, Unaccomplished, yet you've come up with some program somewhere that is making a difference, yet you don't see that. You don't see that as a person. Then you may also find yourself now getting cynical, and you develop a negative outlook towards life. So you become this pessimistic person. You're cynical, you're negative, you're critical, So those are just, then you detach. Because now you feel like you're not accomplishing anything. You think the world is judging you. For example, if you're working in an office, you feel like your boss is judging you, like you're not achieving your goals, you're not meeting your targets. Then now your co-workers are probably also talking about you. You start detaching, okay? So you feel alone in the world. That mother with 4 children starts feeling alone because she's cooped up in that home. She doesn't even have time to go meet her friends. Maybe people visit when she has come from the hospital. Then after that, she's left all alone taking care. So you feel detached because you're cooped up in housework from morning to evening. So you now start feeling detached, like you're alone. The person who is supposed to be supporting you, who is maybe your spouse, comes home and asks you, what have you been doing the whole day? He doesn't understand.
Where have the baby not showered? Where is there no hot meal prepared?
Yes. You see? So you start feeling, I'm all alone in this world. Nobody understands me. So those are just some of the emotional symptoms. Then finally, this now translates into the behavior that people will see. Now people will see certain behaviors in you, or even you'll notice some behaviors. So of course you will withdraw from any more responsibilities and even your day-to-day responsibilities. You'll now give up and say, let those dishes stay there. Let that laundry stay there. I'll do it when I get to it. In fact, you find yourself, you'd rather even just sit down and do something that is totally unrelated to what you're supposed to be doing. So you withdraw from responsibilities. So even if you're working in an office setup, you find that you're withdrawing from what you're supposed to do. You start shirking your responsibilities, maybe delegating or having a lot of excuses. You know, yeah. Then you may also find, of course, yourself isolating yourself, physically isolating yourself. So your co-workers are going maybe for lunch together or a trip to Mombasa. You're like, no, I don't want to go. Or I'm going. You come up with an excuse. I'm going. I don't know where. I have this and this that I'm going for. So you isolate yourself because you don't feel worthy. You feel like they're talking about you. You feel like they're not supporting you. You know, you remember you are doubting yourself.
Yes.
Yeah. You're criticizing yourself. So you feel like you're less. So you feel like you're not even good enough to go for that trip. So you withdraw. You isolate yourself, and then of course that also the other thing that comes along is procrastination.
Oh, that one is very big, Daktari.
You start procrastinating. So the things you know you're supposed to do, or you know you're supposed to do them, you keep putting them aside. So you'll find yourself, you know you're supposed to maybe wash, do the laundry. You're like, I'll do them tomorrow. Tomorrow is also just a day. I'll do them tomorrow. So you'd rather go sit down, maybe watch a movie. You know, so you start, if it's work in the office, you're like, this paper is not due. This project is not due until next week. Yeah. I'll start on it on Friday. You know, I'll work on it over the weekend. Yet right now, there's really nothing important you're doing. So you start procrastinating. So procrastination is another behavioral symptom. So when you find yourself procrastinating a lot, you need to dig deeper. Why am I procrastinating? And then you take longer in getting things done. So even when you now get started to do it, you take longer in getting things done. Then you, like I mentioned, one of the behavioral symptoms that you're likely to see is you take out your frustration on others. So I talked of the mother with 4 children. She's yelling at everybody. Her children, you know, she's here, a mother, she's supposed to be the comfort. She's supposed to take care of the children, but she's yelling at them. And she's just yelling at, if she has somebody else living in the house, she's yelling at everybody. She's yelling at the spouse. If you are in the office, I talked about the boss. Yes. When she's coming in, nobody wants to. Everybody scatters. If it is the daddy, when the daddy is coming home, people hear the car coming in or him walking in, everybody scatters, you know. Because they know he's going to be yelling and all that. So you find yourself now taking out your frustration in so many forms on others. And then finally, you can skip work. You find you're having excuses. If you're working in an office setup or formally employed, you're starting to have excuses. Or I'm not feeling well today. I have to go see my sick mother. There's no sick mother. Or I have to do this and this. I'm sorry, I can't come in today. So you start skipping work, or you come late, or you leave early. And the other behavioral sign, which is the final one, which is very bad for us, you find people taking comfort, you know, developing different coping mechanisms. It can be food. You know, some people now use food as a comfort, as a coping mechanism. And more often than not, it's bad food, junk food, sweet, high in carbohydrates. Okay? Then you may also find people taking comfort in substances. So it could be drugs, alcohol, smoking, and all that kind of stuff, to try and cope, to numb the feelings, to numb their frustration. So people may use different negative coping skills. So in a nutshell, those are the 3 categories of the symptoms, signs and symptoms of burnout. They may present all of them in a person. Some of they may not present all of them in a person. But if you see a number of these symptoms, the physical, the emotional, and the behavioral, then you need to really ask yourself what's going on. Yes.
Well, as young people,
It depends on the individual. It depends on the situation, the like the cause of the stress, and then it also depends on the different coping mechanisms and maybe even the resilience of the individuals. So you might find somebody exhibiting all the symptoms. But the other thing maybe I need to add is burnout symptoms. Burnout itself is a gradual process. So you may start with just the physical symptoms. Then it may translate into the emotional or the psychological symptoms, then eventually the behavioral. Yeah, there's really no order. There's no order. For example, when you start feeling like you're a failure and you have self-doubt, already you may start isolating yourself.
Yeah.
Already that alone may make you already, start, stopping the work, like, or missing work. So they can occur concurrently. They can come in gradually. Yeah, and it's not like you have to have all the symptoms. You may just have one or two symptoms that are presenting in you because of who you are and your coping mechanisms. So you find that maybe you're protected in the other areas, you're handling them a lot better, yet you still have burnout.
Okay.
Yes.